Children and staff at a local daycare quickly take cover after a police-involved shooting just feet away from their front door. Good evening, I'm Anthony Austin.
And I'm Jeannie Blaylock. Tonight we're learning breaking news details about that shooting. JSO says the suspect was armed and intoxicated when he walked into a sandwich shop about noon today in the 1300 block of North Edgewood Avenue. Now, when police got there, they say the suspect had a gun in a holster. And when he reached for his waist, the officer opened fire and killed the suspect.
And we do have live team coverage for you tonight at 6. We begin with our Shelby Danielson. Shelby.
The suspect or the officer involved in this fatal shooting, but they did explain to us what they know happened. If you take a look behind me, you can see officers still on scene, a couple of crime scene vans, but this place has really cleared out since we were here earlier about an hour ago, and it's opened up. You can see some cars finally coming this way. Now, between that red roof and that yellow roof is where the shooting happened, and if you take a look at some video about 5 minutes or so ago, we saw a tow truck come in and take the suspect's vehicle away. And if you look closely, you can see some bullet holes in that truck. So that will be investigated as well. Now, according to JSO, this happened at Vic's Sandwich Shop. The manager there called 911 right at noon, saying that there was a man inside with obvious signs of intoxication. They didn't want him to drive. And then they called 911 again with an update saying that someone spotted this man with a gun on his hip. Well, when an officer arrived, he saw this suspect who was, causing some concern in that parking lot. He approached him to talk, and JSO says that's when the suspect reached toward his hip where he had a gun in a holster. That's when the officer fired at the man. JSO didn't say how many times that officer fired, but they said that he was in a uniform. They said that this officer did not have a body camera, and right now that officer is on administrative leave. That's just protocol. Now, we spoke to some witnesses earlier who said they heard those gunshots in their homes nearby.
It was 3 shots, pow, 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 like a 1 to 2 second pause, and 2 more shots.
Just shots?
And it just sounded like it came from a pretty powerful gun. So I was like, oh, okay, somebody shooting. Initially, I thought maybe somebody was shooting in the air, but it did sound like it was right there. It's a daycare there. It's children.
And you can see on the other side of the parking lot where the shooting happened, where that red roof is, that's a restaurant. And we did hear from some people inside of that restaurant. They were actually told to stay inside for several hours today. Detectives were in there talking to them as well, making sure everyone was okay. And on the other side, there is a daycare. And that's where I want to send things over to Jeff Fallon. He's over there with details on that side of the story. Jeff.
Yes, Shelby, and from your angle, it probably looks much like it does from mine in the sense that that daycare and the sandwich shop are so close together, you really can't tell that they're separate buildings. It's that close, and there were some 30 kids inside that child care center when it all happened. Those children ranging in age from infant to toddler age, and they were in the center taking naps at the time. Now, we're told that none of the kids woke up, but the gunshots sure caught the 3 adults in the building by surprise.
I was nervous, and my first reaction was drop on the floor.
Well, it's scary, because nothing like this has ever happened since my mom owned the daycare here, and to hear about something like this is very troubling, not just for my parents' safety, but for the kids as well.
Now, they tell me that they've had this location for about a year now. They've not had any problems. They think this is a good neighborhood, and we even talked with some clients who say that they'll keep bringing their kids here. Now, as for the daycare center, they have closed for the evening. They tell me that they are going to be open for business as usual Monday morning. Live near Edgewood Avenue, Jeff Fallon, First Coast News.